control of this begun. You rule this moment, what may come. I like this thing I am whenever you are near. There is no resistance here. She dominates, I need some pleasure with my pain. She dominates, abuse me with leather whips and chains. She dominates, took me to a bleeding cry. Break the skin and tantalize. I need some pleasure with my pain. She dominates.
You're listening to the Whip Appeal Show, hosted by MistressCandy69 from the BDSM Alive Radio Network. Hello, hello, hello in Radioland. It is Thursday, March 9th, 2023, and you are listening live to the Whip Appeal by MistressCandy69. And I would actually have started 4 minutes late because my friend Sir Lorenzo was texting me asking me if I was coming on the airwaves. And I said yes, a little after 8 because I had to eat dinner a little late today. So I was finishing up my dinner, and now I'm texting him, letting him know that, what do you call it? That I was on now, so excuse me for a hot minute. Let me tell him I'm on now. So, I was basically just gonna talk about, last week I didn't do a show. I had a really bad headache, actually. I had a headache for 2 days. So, I definitely was not in the mood to do a show, so I just didn't do it. I kind of canceled it like last minute. So sorry for that, folks. But this week, I was sitting here talking to my friend on the phone, my friend PG13, and for those who have listened to prior shows, they would know who that is. So I was on the phone with PG13 tonight, and he was telling me about his relationship with his girlfriend and some other stuff, which is kind of cool. I'm glad he's got a girlfriend finally after so long. And, you know, of course, he was asking me about my guy. And I said things are excellent between me and my guy, and my relationship is amazing, and you know, and like as people would say, Mistress is a cougar, right? Because my boyfriend is 27, and I'm almost 48. I'm 47 right now, so it's an interesting age gap difference, but I have to say, this guy is exactly what I've been looking for my entire life. There's no bullshit, there's no lies, there's no hatred, there's none of that what I had in the past with prior relationships. So it's a very healthy relationship, which I'm actually very thankful for. And things are going amazingly awesome with him, so I'm pretty happy about that. And but anyway, it was kind of funny. Some of the things we were talking about is, you know, things that his woman does, like, to him that he doesn't really like. Like, she kind of nitpicks him a little bit. And I said, well, you know, I don't know how long he's been with her. And I said, well, you know, nitpicking is all right, but if it turns into, like, a fight afterwards, like, there's something wrong with that, you know, aspect of the relationship, I guess, or something that you have to nip at the bud before it, like, starts to grow and filter into some disturbance, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. But I do want to talk about when I had Sean Elliott on the show, not last week, the week before. That was a fantastic interview that Mr. Sean Elliott gave me. And honestly, that was the most intellectual conversation I've ever had with a porn star actor in my life. So, Sean, if you're listening to the show, thank you very much for coming on and being a guest on my show 2 weeks ago. And also, I want to thank you, because a lot of people told me that they loved it. They thought the show was hilarious, that the banter between you and I was quite interesting. And I am very much excited to be doing the movie stuff with you this coming November at Edison. So be on the lookout. I will be there with young Bo in tow. And you will meet him finally. And he's pretty interested to see what goes on in the movie. I kind of explained to him some of the things I would be doing to Sean Elliott. Like, I would, you know, totally dominate him. And maybe, like, you know, put some of my private parts in his face, but he's not allowed to touch or lick or any of that. It's pure, like, you know, body worship or objectifying mistress. And then, you know, I would have that young girl, Victoria Peaks, be in it also, and, you know, have him dominate. Like, he becomes my student, and he becomes her teacher. So it's kind of interesting. It would be like a whole, like, mini-series. So, Sean, if you're listening, I have more twists and plots to add to the whole movie ordeal. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing, by the way. And let's see what else. And then, I don't know, I had some other ideas and thoughts of kinky fetishes to include in the Bizarre series that we're going to be making, which is kind of cool. So we'll have to include some of, like, the hair fetishes, and maybe we'll get Victoria's hair all nice and silky blonde and put some, like, hair perfume in, and we can tease you with her hair. I don't know. I did this show a couple of weeks ago, or maybe like when I came back on with season 2, and I started to do the bizarre fetishes, where I went through all those really crazy bizarre fetishes, especially the lithophilia, which is the one that is still stuck in my head till today. And for those of you who don't remember what lithophilia is, it's actually a fetish where one is enticed sexually by gravel or stones, or cement or pavement. So, going back a few years when I was on ASN with Mike and Sherry on their network, I had this fella who used to call in, who was a supposed grave humper. He used to hump tombstones in some weird cemetery by his house, and he used to call into the show and be, like, ejaculating on a gravestone while he was, like, live on air. He also told me he was he worked at a morgue, or he was a mortician or something. So I used to call him Alex the Necromancer, because he was, like, into necrophiliac. He was a necrophiliac, so he was into necrophiliaism also, which was kind of bizarre. I haven't heard from him in a couple of years, but I think he still follows me on some of my social media, because every once in a while I'll get, like, a creepy message, and I know exactly who it's from. Especially when he talks about, you know, prior shows of him calling in or having conversations with me about him humping gravestones and dressing up dead bodies in the morgue as Baywatch. He used to tell me these really bizarre stories. I don't know if they were really true or not, but it was very interesting material to be had on the show. So, kind of interesting. But I do have to thank Blitzkid for, of course, allowing me to use your song "She Dominates" for the past 5 or 6 years for the show. And I also want to thank Spunk Lube, our sponsor for tonight's show. So if you're interested in getting some kinky hot sex or whatever with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you identify as, and you want a really great lubricant, you can use Spunk Lube. They're fucking awesome. They have different varieties and pretty cool stuff. So you might want to check them out, actually. And they're at spunklube.com, by the way. So, Mistress is taking a sip of my hot coffee. So, I don't know. I was thinking about doing the show for about 45 minutes tonight. I don't have a whole lot to talk about unless somebody calls in. But I have been very active on Instagram and Twitter. And I have to say, I really enjoy doing the Dear Mistress column that I've been doing on and off for the past couple of years, where a submissive or somebody anonymously sends Mistress an email with a bizarre question, fetish, or something they want to ask me, and then I would happily answer them on air. So I'm actually going to go into my email right now and pull up a very few bizarre messages I got during the week. There's this fella on Twitter who's been, like, harassing me for a pro-dom session, and his name is Bruce Wayne, so he must be, like, a Batman fan, I'm assuming, or some sort of comic book nerd. And he starts off initially by saying, can I book an appointment? I'm in Suffolk. So I politely responded, if you want to book an appointment, you have to send me an email and put session in the subject and we can go from there. You know, I give him my email address. I said, oh, and by the way, I'm in Nassau. I'm no longer located in Suffolk County. So he saw that message and said, okay. This is what, back to the bizarre fetishes. This is his response. That's fine. I like smelly feet, armpits, and farts. Okay, so I didn't really know how to answer him, so I didn't answer him at this present time. Now, for those of you who know Mistress pretty well, you do know that Mistress does have a personal eproctophilia fetish, which is a fart fetish. I don't particularly like, well, I shouldn't say I don't particularly like, I actually think farts are quite hilarious, depending on what context they're in, right? So, I don't know, people would refer to me as being a 13-year-old boy, because I would joke around about farts and shitting like it was, you know, like nothing. So, that's just who I am, that's how I am, and if you don't fucking like it, you can kiss my ass, and I'll gladly fart in your face to show you that I don't give a shit. But anyway, so, I didn't know how to answer this fella. And actually, another time, in I think it was Exotica in 2017, there was a fan of mine in the lobby of the after party at Exotica. And he had told me he had an armpit fetish. And he saw that I had, like, a tank top on or something. And he asked me if he could, like, lick my armpits. So, I agreed. Why not? And honestly, it was the most bizarre feeling of having a man's face embedded in my armpit. Like, you know, I was standing up with my arm up, basically. It wasn't like he had me pinned down, but it was kind of bizarre. So I kept telling him, I was like, wow, you must really love sweat. I'm like, I sweat so much today, and I forgot to put deodorant on, so I'm extra stanky on purpose. So, yeah, if you want to lick my sweaty armpits, be my fucking guest. So I stood there, and he actually, it was like news media, and I actually had this fella lick my armpits in the convention center. So, and the person who I was with at the time was, like, totally grossed out by it and then kind of ridiculed me for it after. And I said, listen, you know, I'm a mistress. I will do what I want when I want. Mind your fucking business. End of story. So, you know, I never did it anymore after that, but it's kind of funny. I've had submissives come to me and ask me if they think it's bizarre that they have an armpit fetish. And I said no, because I've actually had people, you know, I've done it with, like, some submissives at conventions and whatnot. So, you know, I mean, it might come in handy on the day that I forget to put fucking deodorant on and my pits are sweaty and I might need a washing. So, like, this is your mouth might come in handy for specifics, you know? So, I didn't know how to answer this guy. So then Friday he writes, hello, mistress. And I wrote, hello. He goes, will you be able to see me for my request? I said, yeah, but you didn't follow my directions in the first email. I had asked you to, you know, email me session so I can discuss further details with the fella. And he obviously can't follow a simple fucking direction because you're addressing me with a lowercase m, first of all. That's a good way for me to say fuck you to you in the first place. You know, I'm okay with doing specific fetishes, but then he sends me a thing. I said, you must come to where the county I live. He goes, okay, do your feet and ass smell? This is what he says to me. I said, well, I could purposely not take a shower for a day, go for a jog, go to the gym, and work all day and get my feet all sweaty, and then, yeah, they would probably fucking stink. And then he goes, well, how about your asshole? And I said, well, first of all, your face is going nowhere near my asshole, number one. Because, you know, I don't know about you, but I don't trust people's faces. I'm just like, I'm not a mistress who gets naked in front of a submissive, first of all. And second of all, you are not putting your face near my asshole. Again, like, you know, what I said to him, I said, what did you think? I was a prostitute? Because I don't do any prostitution services. I said, if you want someone to do that to you, go find a prosty dom. That's what I explained to him. And then he goes, so I didn't answer him. Then he messages me back and sends me his phone number. And he goes, can I see your asshole and toes? He keeps asking me these bizarre questions, like, also, when are you free for this session? So I said, I don't do any nude sessions, and I specifically said I don't discuss anything through Twitter. You must email me appropriately. And he sees it, but doesn't respond to any of it. So, interesting. Again, a submissive or so-called submissive trying to dictate an order to me. I get he's trying to figure out if we're compatible for a session, but that's not a good way to get a dom to, like, look your way. Is like, can I see your assholes and toes? Like, really? It's not even... It should actually read, can I see your asshole and toes? But he writes, can I see your assholes and toes? Like, does this guy think I have multiple asses or something? Like, it's... How fucking dumb can one person be? Again, if you're trying to get in the good graces of a mistress, you might want to learn how to speak proper grammar and type grammar correctly before addressing one as such. I don't know. It's, I'm just trying to just say things that are the absolute truth, and this is exactly from my Twitter email, which is hilarious. Then I have another one. Where's the other one here? Oh god, this is hilarious. It's something about, hold on, where is it? Oh, I might have deleted it now because it was kind of raunchy. And the guy was sending me, like, pictures of his, like, penis, and I was like, I'm gonna ask to see that. And then I get all these spammy things about, you know, sex talks, meetups. I don't fucking meet up with nobody. I'm not interested in any of that shit. So if you're gonna send me that shit, you might as well fucking unfollow me on Twitter. Thank you very much. And, anyway. So yeah, I'm actually live right now, and I just popped on Twitter, and I can see that it says The Whip Appeal Show, live podcast, 3/9/23, The Whip Appeal, Season 2, Episode 5. So right now I'm live, and I'm pretty happy about that, actually. So, I'm going to put call in if you dare. Oof, my neck is killing me. I had a bad week with work, and looking down a lot really screws up my neck, so I have to get a massage from my young boyfriend tomorrow. So if you're listening, when you come here tomorrow to pick me up, you're going to either stay here with me for a little while and give me a massage, and then we can go back to your place. How's that? I don't know. It's pretty funny. So anyway, I'm pretty active now on Night Flirt, and I do work on StreamMateModels.com. So if you go to StreamMateModels.com and you type in MistressCandy69, you can see when I'm on. I haven't really been on as much because I've been kind of like working a lot, but I was on a couple of weeks ago. But I try to only work by appointment only now on there because, I don't know, I'm so busy with my regular life that I just have no time to really go on there, you know. So, but I know my fans have been looking for me, and thank you to all of my new fans on OnlyFans this week, by the way. My OnlyFans page has been growing, like, significantly, which is awesome. And thank you to the fellas who have been purchasing some content of mine on there as well. And, you know, I do custom BDSM photo shoots and of that such, if you had some sort of fantasy in mind. And if I had agreed to it, I would try to, you know, work out, like, some guys like photos of feet, or like feet in bubble baths I've been getting like requests for, and like some other stuff. So I don't know, kind of interesting. But thank you. I've been getting a lot of new followers on Twitter too. Actually, Twitter, Instagram, and a lot of other places I've been getting a lot more activity on. So thank you for everybody following me. These people are fucking hilarious. But yeah, there's like a lot of weird stuff on Twitter I noticed too, like some I don't know. I've been trying to, like, clean up my feed on Twitter. I have a lot of, like, wacky stuff on there. And it's like, a lot of it's, like, news garbage. And I don't want, like, news garbage on my Twitter. I want to see, like, good shit from people that, like, follow me and stuff. And, you know. So it's kind of interesting. But, I don't know. Other than that, I've just been kind of working a lot and doing, like, a bunch of stuff. Hello? Hello, Sir Lorenzo.
Yeah, I tried the other number, but it didn't want your tape.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Because I have the phone off. That's why I totally forgot to fucking... But this one's fine. It's cool. This one's cool. So how have you been?
Oh, I've been doing good.
Oh, that's good. Great. Any news you want to share with us tonight on the airwaves?
No, I was listening to you talking about that movie that you're going to be doing with Sean.
Oh, yeah. What do you think of some of my plots and twists that I want? He was totally down for it when I discussed it with him on air the 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, that's going to be nice.
I know, because think about it. Nobody's really done that. I mean, they've had, like, role-playing, but no one actual real BDSM mistress actually doing that with a porn star, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, not authentic like that. So
exactly. So I think it's going to be a hot commodity. I think it's going to make a lot of things explode, including a bunch of peckers.
Mm-hmm. Especially with a series and Sean and Victoria will make it nice if I have to narrate your movies.
Oh, yeah, you should absolutely be the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
That'll be something.
Why, did you talk to him about that?
No, but Sean will be game for anything like that.
I'm cool with me having a narrator. Why not? Because then I don't have less to say.
That's right. More to do and less to say.
More to do and less, that's right. Less speaking and more whipping and dominating and beating. And what did he say? He goes, don't beat me too hard. That's all right. I'll give you a test run first to see if you can handle it a little bit.
Yeah, no. I think that'll be a fun time when that happens.
Oh, absolutely. And this year my young beau in tow is coming with me. So basically, he knows about me doing the movie with Sean Elliott, and he was like totally into it. I said, you could be there, you could absolutely watch. I have no problem. I mean, I'm screwing Sean. That's like the thing. I'm dominating him using my body parts and having him worship me and objectify me, and I tease him at the same time, and then make him do things to Victoria.
Yeah, that'll be real good.
Because you got to keep it strictly domination between me and Sean. So I'm his teacher actually at the moment, and he's the student.
Yeah, and that's what you rarely see in those type of films.
That's correct. So he's going to be like taught under Mistress Candy's tutelage. And then, and then being able to dish it out, but with a sexual sadism with her. So, and it may not, some of them may not all be sadism. Some of them may be like, daddy, little girl age playing, obviously, too, of that nature, like different types of scenarios. So I thought it would be kind of hot, and Sean thought it would be kind of hot to have like a mini series. And who knows? It could be fantastic, as one would say.
Oh, yeah. I think he does. He does have his stepdaughter, I think, now also on some of that film. So.
Yeah, he was telling me about that he does like a daddy stepdaughter thing, and he found it to be kind of hot and like, a little weird, but he kind of wants to know. He wants me to teach him about BDSM also. So I might just have he might just become my slave first. Like, he's probably listening and going, "Oh, I would do anything for her. Like, I'll do it now." Like,
yeah, Sean would love that.
So, and did you talk to Mike about it?
No, I haven't. Mike's been busy, but we'll definitely get it all organized, before that time.
Yeah, because when we saw Mike at his birthday at the last Exotica, he's like, I'm in for it. I want to direct it. I want to do this. So that's good. Hey, why not? Listen, you know what? Mike knows me a long time, so I'm perfect for the role. Why not? It's a whole clan of us, and it'll be great,
Yeah, I think Mike wanted to film also.
Exactly.
Be all in the action.
Yeah, he wanted to film and sort of kind of direct, I think, you know.
Yeah.
So
We'll get it. It's going to be great, though.
But what are we going to call it? We have to think of a dirty, twisted, masochist name for it. Like, that's something that we all have to kind of brainstorm together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see how that comes up.
Exactly. Like, you know, we can call it the misadventures of Mistress Candy. The misadventures.
Yeah, something like that. That'll be good.
Yeah, you know, I think like something along those lines would be kind of, or I don't know, we'll figure it out. But like, I told Sean that he should think of names too.
Yeah.
You
that's,
know,
that's something you're gonna have. What do you say? Your young boo there with you.
Yeah. My I call him my bow and toe. I don't like to use his real name, so I call him my bow and toe. Actually, speaking of bow and toe, my old slave Paula actually called me the other day, and I was on the phone with him for probably like an hour, and filling him in, of course, of all the things that has happened in my life within the past like 6 months. And he goes, "Oh, you know what he said to me?" He goes, "Oh, mistress." I said, "What?" He goes, "I have not heard that laugh in a long time." He goes, "I'm so happy for you that you're finally free of all that garbage." He goes, "And you have a great life, and you know what? You're going to do fun, amazing things." He goes, "And by the way, you look fucking fantastic."
Is he listening today?
Yeah, he's listening tonight.
Okay, that's good.
I think Bo and Toe is listening too. So, yeah. And a few others that I like were my other guy friends that I like chat with during the week. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing on Thursday?" I'm like, "I got to do my show." So I'm like, unless you want to be a guest on my show, then don't call my phone. Like, you know.
How's PG-13? Is he
actually? I just spoke to him before I did the show. That's why I was a little late. I was eating dinner and I was chatting with PG-13. And he was kind of filling me in on his crazy sex life with his girlfriend. And I said, "Oh, well, you know, that's good. I'm glad you finally are getting laid after so long, you know." So it was kind of funny. And he was asking about Exotica. And I said, "Well, if you want to come." He goes, "Oh, I may bring, you know, I'll just call her LL. He's going to bring Linda Land." That's her name, Linda Land. I won't say what her real name is, but LL, Linda Land. And so he may bring her, because actually he told her about him being at Exotica with me last night. That's another reason why we kind of left early on Sunday, because I had to go home to Bo and Toe and have family, and he had to go home for his family and his, you know, new girl at the time. And so, and they just met, like, literally, I think he was talking to her on Facebook dating that weekend, and he's like, "Oh God, she wants to go on a date this Sunday. We have to leave early." So he was like freaking out. So I was like, "Okay, that's cool." You know, my feet and back were hurting. I was tired. Saturday, I think I like slept most of the day at Exotica because I was like fucking drained. Because the night before I smoked so much weed, I couldn't even fucking like, you know, it was just, so, you know, it was like a lot of crazy things. So, but she knew about it, and she's like, "Oh, that's really interesting. I may want to go next year." So who knows? I may have a clan coming with me this time. You know, I don't know. But Bo and Toe is definitely coming with me, and PG-13 and his girlfriend may be coming, and I have other friends that are actually meeting me there also. So I'm gonna have a bunch of people, and I think Rita is coming back this year also, I believe.
Oh yeah, she should be back.
Yeah. So I'm, you know, I think she's been healing pretty good. She's kind of moving around a little bit now, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, she may be moving too much, from what I've seen.
Why, you think she's, you know, okay?
Yeah, but you know, with rehab, Rita's going to do it her way. So.
Oh, I know. I told her to go back to the gym and do yoga and Pilates. Just be careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because listen, a month after my surgery, I was fucking lifting 2-pound dumbbells. Because there was no way in hell I was going to atrophy after putting in all that fucking work and then have to fucking start all over. I mean, look, just last week, I'm back to pressing 560 again.
Yeah, that's good.
So, I mean, I'm only fucking 10 months post-op. Almost 11. Next month will be, March. Yeah, actually, I'm 11. March 21st is 11 months post-op for me. So I went back to the surgeon, like, I don't know, like a month or two ago. I had an x-ray done here, and I did telehealth with them, and they said everything's fused, it's healed. But, you know, I won't lie, I do have some pain in it still. But, you know, that's to be expected. I'm still kind of healing, but they said from what they could tell, the fusion looked like it took, and I'm, you know, I seem to be okay. But then, as we all know, I slipped on my fucking ass when I went to Maine with my bow and toe, and I fucking fucked up my lower back. So, like, now I have a problem down there. Like, but when I fell, I herniated L5S1, and I have scoliosis from it down there. So the doctor basically told me, he goes, you can do XYZ. He goes, don't squat anymore. I said, well, recently I used the Smith machine. He goes, that's all right. He goes, but don't do anything over like 20 pounds or, you know, he's like, I would be careful. So honestly now the linear leg press has been my best friend for about 5 or 6 years now. And honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to squat again. They said it's good for the linear because, you know, linear leg press, you're pressing up, obviously. So you can press way heavier than you could actually squat. So to me, it's a good strength building exercise. But, you know, I just make sure my spine, of course, is as straight as it can be, and I'm pressed up against the pad. And I'm fucking pressing at now 11 months post-op the weight that I was pressing before I had my fucking surgery. I haven't pressed that in almost a fucking year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it took me, like, a good, like, 11 months to, like, recover. I'm not fully recovered, but, you know, I'm able to walk around. Like, I tell people I had a fusion. They're like, where's your skull? I'm like, oh, yeah, my surgeon did a great fucking job. Like, now you could barely see where I had the fucking surgery. And, you know, I'm pretty lean now. I'm 163 pounds. I'm, you know, muscular. I'm, like, ripped kind of a little bit. Like, here and there, you know, like, you know, so I'm getting... You know, I think I'm in better shape because right before I had the surgery, I was 189 pounds. So, you know, I was bigger then. I was more bulkier.
Yeah.
Now I'm lean and meaner, so to speak. No, I'm really not that mean anymore, honestly. I think I've kind of like simmered down. I'm living a very less stressful life nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And you know. What's that?
I said compared to last year. It's like night and day.
Yeah, night and day, exactly. So, and it's funny, people I work with, they're like, you know, if you were here last year when this shit was going on, you'd be like a fucking nut. I was like, yeah, I know. They're like, you probably would have, like, killed somebody. So now they see that I'm, like, very reserved and very relaxed. Because, yeah, I was in a toxic environment. It was awful. And, you know, thank God my bow and toe was not like that because I wouldn't put up with that shit. So, like, it's funny, the reason why I said bow and toe is because he's going to be coming to Exotica, so I figure I might as well, and he goes everywhere with me anyway, so bow and toe is kind of cool, I think.
Hope he's ready for what he's going to see. You know how Exotica can get.
I told him, listen, he doesn't have virgin eyes. So, I mean, it's like, you know, he's young, but he doesn't have virgin eyes. So, I mean, you know, he knows a lot of shit from my time period, even though we're like 20 years apart. Well, actually, here's the question, Sir Lorenzo. Am I 20 years or 20 3/4 of a year older than him? Because I'm technically 47 right now, but turning 48 in July, and he just turned 27. So is it 20 or 20 1/4 of a year?
You're 20 1/4 because you know and that's a big difference.
It is. That's why I was like 20 1/4. So I mean, one of my patients in my office were you know this person a while, and his wife was in a couple of weeks ago, and I told her about my young guy, and her like fucking jaw dropped because I know this woman a very long time. So, you know, from the neighborhood and everything else. So, it's kind of funny. So, her husband comes in today for some work, And he goes, hey, listen, my wife was telling me to ask you something about your young guy. And he says to me, he goes, I've known you a long time. He goes, and you look great, by the way. He goes, I would think you were probably like, he goes, if I was to see you now, I would think you were like 30 years old. I said, no, I'm not 30 years old, but thank you. He goes, my wife tells me you have a young boyfriend. How old is he? So I tell him the same thing I just told you. And he looks at me and goes, you're a cougar. This is what he says to me, my patient, right? So I looked at him with this shit-eating grin, and I said, why, yes, I am. So he laughed so hard. He goes, hey, listen. He goes, he goes, how old are you, actually? And I told him, and he goes, oh, my God. So he goes, technically, you're almost 21 years older than him. I said, no, it's not 21. He's born in December, and I'm in July, so it's 20 and a quarter. Or is it, right, it's 20.
It's like, what is he, December? It's like 20 and a half almost.
Yeah, 20 and a half. So he's December, and I'm July. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's December of 95, and I'm July of 75. So it's 20 and a quarter years, yes?
It doesn't sound bad now, but just think about you were drinking when you was born, you know?
Well, listen, you know, drinking, I was fucking, like, when 95, I think I was, like, 20.
Yeah.
Almost 21. So, yeah, he's fucking... So, when he was born, I was like 21 years old. So, it's really funny because actually, you know, he's a metalhead, of course, and obviously I wouldn't date him if he wasn't. So, but it's funny, I introduced him to a lot of these, like, bands that he didn't even know exist. So he'd be at my house hanging out with me, like, I have music on. He's like, who the hell is this? I'm like, Typo Negative. He goes, I've never heard of them. I said, yeah, well, the third album came out when you were born. So I've been giving him, like, all kinds of, you know, information. I actually know 2 members of Typo Negative. Actually, 3 of them. I met Kenny Hickey once or twice. He used to be the guitarist. My good friend Sal Broscato, he is the original drummer for Typo Negative, and my other friend Johnny Kelly, who I wish, actually today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Johnny. I wish you a happy birthday on Facebook. I actually posted a picture of him and I wished him a happy birthday on his page, because I'm friends with him too. And recently, you know, Jane, it's so bad. I almost blurred out his name. I can't do that. It's terrible. He has Mopar cars, right? So all these guys are actually Mopar guys. So recently, from the weekend, I'm sure you saw the video of him washing his car in the front, right?
I saw him speeding down the block. That's the main one I saw.
Okay, well, on my regular Facebook, there's a video of him washing his black Cuda in front of the house.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the song that's playing is Black Number 1 by Typo Negative. I actually had it on, we were listening to it outside, and it just so happened to be on in the background of the video. And so I tagged Johnny and Sal in the video on Facebook, and Johnny writes, oh, I miss my Cuda so much. I used to have a 71, a 72, I think he had a 74, a 73, and a 72. He misses them, and he goes, you could always get these cars. Now they're really hard to find. So he was happy to see that, you know, my guy has a Cuda. So he actually friended him because they have something in common, me and the Mopar. Kind of interesting, yes? So the funny part of the story is I get to introduce him to all the music that he doesn't know existed, okay? So he gets to now listen to, like, metal, gothic metal, and other metal that he didn't even know was around.
Yeah, that's true.
So I tell my famous friends, they know I'm with this young fella, and they ask me why, and I said, listen, I've been teaching him all about old school music bands that you guys were in. He goes, oh, awesome. And they're like, teach him about our new bands too. So they get new fans and followers that way. So it's pretty awesome. So actually, I get to teach him about all kinds of cool stuff, and he learns a lot from me, which is good. And but yeah, it's overall it's a very pleasant relationship. He's not a narcissist, thank God. He's not into. I mean, he's into some kind of kinky stuff, but only when, like, him and I decide when we're doing it. We don't, like, base our relationship on it, you know, which is good. I kind of decided I didn't want to date a submissive ever again. So, you know, and just keeping it real. But, like, totally cool that I'm into my kinky shit and wants to... He told me he's dying to go with me to Exotica so he could walk around with me all dressed in my mistress clothes. And he gets to experience that attention like that.
Oh yeah, he's gonna have a ball up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and you know, because he's never gone to anything like that. So here is his cougar girlfriend exposing him to all sorts of kink and debauchery.
Yeah, we'll have to mess with him, get him in a lot of pictures. Yeah, he's gonna have a fun time.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be something.
Well, it's funny because the last time me and PG-13 were at Exotica and I saw Evan Stone, right? So Evan, I tell Evan that this is my friend from school, blah, blah, blah. I've known him since we're 13, so he calls him PG-13. And Evan was like, oh my God, Mistress, you look fucking fantastic, my God, and like, you know. So then my friend PG-13 tells him, he goes, oh, well, she has a boy toy. So he was like, well, so he's like, do tell. So my friend PG-13 tells Evan how old he was. And at the time, Bo and Toe was 26. And I was 47. Okay. So he turns around and goes, oh my God. So I get a lot of head turns. Actually, when we went to the gym together today, him and I, you know, I walk around the gym and I hold his hand in the gym and stuff when we're leaving. And I see always people like staring, like giving us like second takes or whatever. Like, it's really fucking funny. I said something to somebody today. I said, why don't you take a fucking picture? It'll last longer. Or how about I stand still and you could stare some more? That's what I said. Like, I mean, it's kind of funny because the first few times my guy and I went out, like, this is like personal experience. You should have seen these fucking guys turn their fucking heads, especially when we went to the Judas Priest concert, right? So it's like mixed age group over there. And, you know, I did see, like, maybe one or two people that I knew, but, like, really didn't go say hello to them because I didn't want to be, like, subjected to talking to them because it just, you know, they could drag out conversations, and I just wasn't really going there to, like, talk to them, you know? So, when we all went, like, me, him, and my friend Dave went, and we, basically, you know, kind of hung around or whatever, and you should have seen the looks on people's fucking faces, like, this young guy and two young guys, like a group of young guys, gave us like a couple of second takes, and they were like whispering to each other. And then somebody else, a Spanish guy or something, he dead on looked me dead in the eyes, looked at James, looked at both of us, and then just like kept going. And him and I like just looked at each other and started laughing. I said, when I took him to the prom show, somebody in the audience who's related to somebody else that I know there had said, oh, there's this woman there with her son, and she's like kissing her son. He's not my fucking son, first of all. So it was kind of comical, if you ask me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what makes Exotica so nice. That it's a different environment, so you won't get that same, you know, that same thing. It's acceptable of whoever you are, whatever you want to do.
Exactly. So yeah, there as you know, I told him last weekend, I said, there was an Exotica a few years back, I had worn pasties with an underbust corset. And the person who I was with had a fucking stroke about it because, you know, he wasn't there. And that's the whole reason why I did it, because he wasn't fucking there. Because I wanted to be who I was. He wasn't there. So, finds out about it, has a shit fit. But what do you fucking care what the fuck I was wearing? He would walk around half fucking naked half the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I mean, I felt, actually, that was the first Exotica that I ever walked around with my breasts out with pasties on. Because I've been going to them shows for years. And I did that back in 2015, actually. I haven't done it since. I probably won't, because it's not me now. But, like, you know, my whole illusion is to be adored with my clothes on, not with them off. You know, so, you know.
You're gonna have to do something else memorable this time.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't decided yet. I mean, who knows? Maybe one of the days I'll just have, like, I actually looked at this, like, fetish tape stuff once, right? And I sent my boyfriend there this picture of this woman wearing this, like, fetish tape with these spikes on it, and just covered her nipples and her, you know, private. She's all shaved, of course. But it was sexy. So I sent it to him, and I said, what do you think about that? He goes, ooh, you should get that tape. Like, so who knows? Maybe one year I'll be daring enough to almost be naked, but quite not naked there.
Yeah, I think that should be this year.
Oh, you think I should do it this year?
Yeah, this is the time. One week.
I don't know. Maybe I'll decide. I'm not sure what day I'm going to do it yet. But if I have my menstrual cycle, my wolf's moon, I'm definitely not doing that. I mean, I don't think it would be so hot to see a naked woman walking with a string hanging out of her pussy. That's not a good look. It's like a vampire teabag. Remind me not to go near Captain Jack's booth. If I have my period and there's a string hanging out, he might try to suck it out of there. He's a bloodsucker.
Do it Friday. It's a shorter night. Ladies' nights be packed. That's the time.
I don't know if I would be completely. I don't know. First of all, I would have to, like, be pre-measured for the tape because it's measured to your body measurements. I'd probably have to order it now so it would get here before Exotica. Or I can have my guy tape me all up, and I'll just wear like a tape dress there. I don't know. I haven't decided. I do have some interesting outfits. I do want to try to get some new ones, actually. I definitely need a new pair of boots before then, so. I seem to be breaking all the heels off the bottom of my boots, because I wear them a lot. You know, they like... I mean, actually, there's a guy in a couple of towns away that repairs boots. I may just bring them to him and have him redo the bottoms for me.
Yeah. Either way, you know you have a good time, so that's good, yeah.
Exactly.
So that's November, first weekend in November.
Yeah, I think it's November 3rd to the 5th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so.
But,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I was only going to do a quickie show tonight. What did you think of that guy, that message from Twitter with the guy with the session? What a fucking idiot.
I think he's getting off on you telling him, you know, instructions and things like that, because he's not tribute. No
Right,
tributes
exactly.
prior, no nothing, you know. So
yeah, he's not.
just
Yeah, exactly.
trying to
So,
get off free.
yeah, well, that's why I was like, when he sent me the thing, can I see your assholes and toes? Like, how many assholes do you think I have?
Yeah, they get off on even being told off. So, you know.
Listen, I sent him the information if he was serious about a session with instructions. Doesn't follow the instructions, but has the balls to ask me again. So I said, well, when you learn how to follow directions properly and address me as such correctly, then I will give you my time. Until then, fuck off. That's what I wrote to him. Mm-hmm. Listen, it's I don't have time for oxygen thieves and wankers, as one would say. You know what an oxygen thief is, right? Exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll get back to you. Enjoy, you know, see your show's rolling, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back going. Last week I had a really bad fucking headache for 2 days, and I decided last minute not to do the show, which some of my fans were a little upset, but, you know, look, it is what it is. And then I was on the phone with PG-13. I was like, listen, I got to get off the phone. I have to do my show. It's like I'm already 5 minutes late. So I really have to, you know. So he was like, all right, call me tomorrow. Because I don't know. I think me and him and his girl and my guy are probably going to go on a double date soon. So that's like we're trying. Yeah, like, no, it's cool. Because, like, he knows him and, you know, but I never met the girl, but I've heard about her. She knows about me and my guy, but we just never met her, you know? So, and you know what? My friend PG-13, he seems really happy, like, that he has, and you know, I'm glad he has a woman, and it's kind of funny, she's older than him.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
she's actually, I think, 15 years older than him, or I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure exactly, but she's definitely older than him. So it's kind of interesting. I have a younger guy, and he's got an older woman. So it's kind of fucked up and funny at the same time. Like, I laugh about it, like, with him. I'm like, he's like, it's fucked up. He's like, you have a younger guy and I have an older woman. How the fuck did that happen? Like, he's like, it's funny, you know? So I said, well, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm like, and be thankful for what you have, because you may not have that girlfriend one day if you keep acting like a fucking dickweed. And, like, you know, it's just kind of funny, but I don't know. But I think I'm going to say goodnight, too, because honestly, my neck is killing me from the gym and work, and I'm probably just going to take, like, a muscle relaxant and, like, go to bed, because I do actually have to work tomorrow. So, and I have a busy day with the surgeon tomorrow, so it's busy, you know. So, but thanks for calling in, Sir Lorenzo. That's pretty awesome. You haven't been on in a while, so I was like,
Yeah, we have a lot to work on there, and hopefully we can get a lot of your fans maybe to come down to Jersey, you know, since you're going to be there. That'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, you know, right.
Yeah. All right. You take care of yourself.
All right, you too. I'll talk to you later. Have a great night. Thanks for calling in. All right, bye-bye. So that was pretty cool. I had Sir Lorenzo on and tonight, but I'm going to be going, saying goodnight, because I'm pretty tired. But, you know, thanks for listening, and I hope I answered at least some of the emails or questions that you in chatting tonight about approaching a dom. What should you do as a submissive? The things I discussed about the submissive on Twitter, those are things you don't want to do. It's a good way to get, like, dismissed before even being given the chance to be seen. And that's about it. So, I'm going to say goodnight for tonight, but thanks for listening to the Whip Appeal show by MistressCandy69, hosted by the BDSM Alive Radio Network. We are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, a lot of apps, Newsly, iTunes, iHeart, Spreaker. Oh God, if you just go to our website, www.bdsmalive, radio.com, and you can find out all the apps that we're on. So, and thank you, by the way, for all the nice comments that you fellows have been leaving on about the radio show. I really enjoy getting feedback, and thank you for your wonderful comments. I really appreciate it. And thanks for listening, and have a great night, everybody. Good night.